How many times have you given up on yourself in your life? Imagine if you didn't give up, where you would be. Now, imagine where you could be if you started today. Today, we're going to be talking about the law of 100. And I'm going to explain to you what that means. I'm going to talk to you about a secret to success. And it is extremely simple, but it is also, for most people, very difficult to do. It's not really hard to do. We just make it way more difficult than it needs to be. But even though it's super simple, it is extremely, extremely important for the success that you're trying to build for yourself, for your family, for the world, the impact that you want to do. And I'm going to teach you a little bit of how Jerry Seinfeld, the comedian, actually used this technique to be one of the greatest comedians and the wealthiest comedian that has ever lived by using this thing called the law of 100. So I call it the law of 100. I don't know if there's another name for it. I just made it up as the law of 100. And it's very simple. The first thing that you need to do is you need to decide what it is that you need to do. So what I mean by that, if you're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay, well, decide the one most important thing that you need to do to lose weight. Maybe it's work out. Maybe it is eat healthier. Maybe it is stop drinking alcohol. Maybe it is stop drinking soda, stop your intake of sugar. Find out figure out what it is that you want to do, and then figure out what the very most important thing that you need to do in order to get there. Don't figure out the 3, 4, 5 things and try to be an overachiever. Figure out the one thing and one thing only that you need to do to get yourself there. So that's step number one. And the way that I think about it is this. It could be an action in your business. It could be an action in your relationships. It could be an action that you need to take in your weight loss, in your gaining muscle. It could be one action that you need. That's all it is. It's just one action that you need to do. And you're going to do that thing for 100 days in a row. So it's very simple. It's 2 steps. So I'm going to break it down with you. We're going to go much more in depth, why this works, how to make it easier. But it's literally 2 steps, okay? Number 1, decide what that action is. That's it. What is that action? So think about it right now. What is it that you want to achieve in your life? And what is one action that you can do to help you get there? If you're saying, hey, you know what? I want to make $100,000 this year. And in order to do that, I know I need to make 100 phone calls a day. That's just what I need to do. Looking at my numbers, looking at my closing ratio, looking at the amount of people who pick up when I call, all of that. All I need to do is make 100 phone calls every single day. So that is the action that's going to get us closest to the desired result that we want. So step number 1 is to decide what that action is. And step number 2 is to do it every single day for 100 days. So you might be out there and saying, oh my gosh, but I don't know, if I want to lose weight and I need to go to the gym, is it okay for me to work out 100 days in a row? Yes, it's okay for you to work out 100 days in a row. Change what your workout is. Do cardio one day, do weightlifting one day, do yoga one day. Whatever it is that you need to do, you can do hot yoga. Whatever it is you need to do some form of working out for 100 days straight. So step number 1, decide what the action is. Step number 2, do it every single day for 100 days. The reason why is because when you decide, I'm going to do this 100 days, you take out all of the room that you allow yourself to give you the BS excuses as to why you can't do it or your self-limiting beliefs. All of those things, the excuses and the self-limiting beliefs are still going to come up, but when you have made a commitment, and your word is worth everything. So if you make a commitment and you don't follow through on it, that is your fault. That is your giving up on something. So when you decide, it allows you to get past the self-limiting beliefs. It allows you to get past the excuses, the self-sabotage. You just decide, I don't give a damn what happens to me. If I get hit by a truck, I'm going to do this thing every single day for the next 100 days. And let me tell you a few reasons why this is important for you. First thing is this: successful people, whatever success means to you, the thing that I've come to realize about success is it's not really that hard. We make it much more harder than it needs to be. Much harder than it needs to be. Successful people are just consistent. That's it. They're just consistent. And we could take success in any way. You could look at somebody who's wealthy, if that's what success means to you. They worked really hard consistently and they just didn't give up. Simple. Did they have struggles and challenges come up along the way? Absolutely. But they worked really hard consistently and they became wealthy. Now, you might look at somebody and say, okay, well, my definition of success is somebody who is extremely calm and centered and is an amazing person, right? That might be your definition of success. Okay. Well, there's a pretty good chance that that person has meditated every single day or developed something that they need to and done it every single day so that therefore they can be more calm. They can be more centered. So if success to you is joy and peace and happiness and all of that stuff, You can 100% create those things, but you have to realize that you need to be consistent with whatever that is. You might say, well, success to me right now and what I'm trying to work on for this year and the upcoming year and whatever it is, the next 6 months, is being in incredible shape. Okay, well, a quote unquote successful person and someone that's in incredible shape, they worked out. They stayed consistent with their workout plan. They stayed consistent with their dieting. They stayed consistent with their water intake. They stayed consistent with not having so much sugar, having less alcohol. They stayed consistent. The number one thing that I see among successful people is they're not the smartest people in the world. They don't come from money all of the time. In fact, just in case you guys want to know, in the United States, out of all of the millionaires that exist in the United States, only 20% of them come from money, which means 80% of them don't come from anything. And so you can't say, oh yeah, but they came from money and I didn't have any money and my family was broke. You have to realize it's just about being consistent. It's showing up and it's working towards the thing that you need to get. It's just the consistent daily action. Success comes from consistency. Let me say that again. Let me get it into your brain. Success comes from consistency, whatever that success is. Even if you want to be an incredible parent. Okay, well, I want you to spend an hour a day, undivided attention with your children every single night. Put your phone away, turn the TV off. That's going to make you a better parent. Maybe that's what success means to you. So you have to figure out what the success is that you want. You have to figure out the number one action that needs to be taken, and you need to do it every single day. This is it. Step number 1, decide what the action is. Step number 2, do it every single day for 100 days. Success comes from consistency. You don't fail until you give up. That's it. Failure comes from giving up. And so you've got to think about that. But let me explain to you why this is important in your brain, just so you have an idea. Imagine your brain is like a forest, right? And I'll explain to you what this means. Eventually what happens over time, I'm 35 years old. I have 35 years of habits and things that I've done over the years. I have neural pathways in my brain that are strong, that I've done over and over and over and over again. Those habits I've done over and over again. A habit is just something that my brain has turned on to autopilot so that it makes it easier for me to consistently do over and over and over again. So we have habits that are good. We also have habits that are bad, and we want to get rid of those habits. And so when you think about that, you start to ask yourself the question, okay, if I don't have the habit that I want to create the life that I want, I need to create that habit of working out every single day, of spending an hour with my children every single day, of meditating every single day, whatever it is that action is for you. And it usually takes anywhere between 21 to 100 days to rewire a habit or to wire a habit into your brain. And so if you think of your brain as a big giant forest, your habits are kind of like the pathway that has been carved in the forest by going down it over and over and over again. You know, when you walk a pathway every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day, it starts to get rid of all of the plants and the weeds and everything around it because you've been stepping in that. That's what a habit is in your brain in the forest. Creating a new habit and doing this every single day for 100 days is literally the idea of walking into the forest with a machete and then just hacking a brand new pathway, hacking a brand new place inside of your brain. So whether that's the working out habit, whether that's the spending time with your children habit, whether it's the meditation habit, whatever it is, you're literally taking a machete and hacking that new thing into your brain. That's what we're trying to do here. That's how we turn it into a habit. Now, how did Seinfeld use this? Well, Seinfeld's actually famous for doing something that they've now coined the Seinfeld calendar. And what he would do is what he realized when he was a new comedian, he needed to work at his craft every single day. And so he made himself write jokes every single day. Like there was not rain or shine, nothing got in his way. He wrote jokes every single day. And he had a calendar that was up on the wall. There was one of the calendars and every single day was on it. And he had a red pen that was attached to that calendar, and he would, it was just dangling from it. And when he would finish his jokes that he had written for the day, he would walk up to that calendar and he would put a big red X on the day, which means that he completed his task for the day. And so how can you use this to your advantage? The thing that he said is that once he started and he could consistently see a bunch of red X's, he didn't want to break the cycle. It literally drove him to go up and do more jokes and more jokes because he was able to see all of the red X's. And he's like, well, I don't want today to be the day that I break it. And so he continued to keep it going. And so one thing you could do is you could say, hey, I want to do this for 100 days straight. Let me mark off my calendar. Here's day 1, okay, today. Here's 100 days from today. And my goal, my commitment is that I'm going to put a red X every single day for doing this thing that I'm going to be doing for the next 100 days. That's it. He ended up doing this and he did it for thousands of days. It was like years and years and years that he went writing jokes. So when you look at him, you're like, well, he's one of the most successful comedians ever. He's also the wealthiest comedian ever. Maybe it's because of the fact that he was so freaking consistent when he was trying to master his craft that he became better than everyone else because of the fact that he was so consistent. Success is not hard. Success is so simple, we just make it hard. It's just wake up and do the right things every single day. Wake up, do the right things every single day, and do it consistently, and then just don't give up. And eventually you're going to succeed at whatever it is that you want. Like I said, the most successful people that I know, they're not the smartest people. They don't know everything in the world. They're not the most well-read people. They're just really damn consistent at doing the right things every single day. And so it comes down to your hard work and your dedication more than anything else. You know, if you were to look at it and you were to say, all right, I'm going to do this for 100 days. Imagine what would happen if you did this for the next year. Imagine what would happen if you do it for 100 days and then doing it for 100 days motivates you to keep going and you go for an entire year. Imagine where you could be a year from today if you took that action every day for the next 365 days. Your life could be completely different. Now, what if you fast forwarded 3 years? Where could your life be? If you said, you know what, success in my business is the thing that I'm working at more than anything else. I'm going to put 100 days into working hard in my business, doing XYZ, because that's what's going to get my business the furthest. And then you did that every single day for 100 days, and then a year, and then 3 years. Imagine where your life could be. If you fast forwarded 3 years from today, knowing that you did that thing every single day. Like if I told you, think about this for instance, if I told you, hey, you know what? If you do something every single day for the next 3 years, I'm going to pay you $5 million. Guaranteed, absolutely. Would you go for it if you are 100% guaranteed to succeed? I'm like, hey, just do it every single day for 3 years and I'll give you $5 million in cash. Would you do it? Is the answer yes or no? Answer it out loud to yourself. It's probably yes, right? I'll give you $5 million if you do this thing every single day for the next 3 years. You're guaranteed success. Now, you have to think about this. I can't guarantee that whatever that thing is that you want, you're going to have in 3 years, but I can guarantee you if you don't stop, you will eventually get that thing that you want. So if acquiring $5 million was the thing that you wanted, I can't guarantee you that if you take the right action, you're going to get it literally in 3 years. But if you're taking the right action to make that money, you will eventually make the $5 million. It could be less than 3 years. It could be more than 3 years. But success is pretty much guaranteed when you take the right action. Success is pretty much guaranteed when you take the right action. If you're not taking the right action, it's going to be a lot harder. You know, and just don't stop. Where could you be in your life if you didn't give up years ago on that thing that was really important to you? How many of you listening right now have given up on something that was really important to you 4 years ago? You know, that side business that you wanted and it wasn't bringing in as much money as you wanted to, so you shut it down. Where could you be if you just never shut it down? How different could your life be if you did not shut that business down 4 years ago and you have continued to struggle and mess things up and figure it out and get a little bit better and struggle and mess things up and figure it out and get a little bit better? Where could you be now if you didn't give up 4 years ago? If you didn't give up 7 years ago? If you didn't give up 17 years ago? Where could your life be right now? A completely different place. I don't say that because I want to bring you down. I say it because I want to put your life in a perspective. You now know that if you hadn't given up, your life would be in a completely different place. Well, now let's take the knowledge that we have from the past, let's bring it into our present and then use it for our future. Why don't I decide what it is that I want and then just decide that I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go for 100 days. And then hopefully at the end of those 100 days, I'm motivated to keep going. And I'm going to create a new habit in my brain. Think about where your life could be. It could be a completely different place than it currently is. Sometimes we have a little bit of a struggle building a business, whatever it is we're trying to do. And we're like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it's just the universe saying, hey, Rob, this isn't the right thing. Try something else. When in reality, that's just our ego. That's just that little voice inside of our head, that little bitch inside of our head saying, oh, give up, man. Stay where you are. Hey, give up. Stay where you are. Hey, you don't need to go and be a success. You're probably not good enough or smart enough or any of those things. And what happens is we talk ourselves out of the thing that's going to be the most fulfilling for us. Imagine if you didn't give up, where you would be. Now, imagine where you could be if you started today. Imagine where you could be if you started today and you said, I'm just going to give up. How many times have you given up on yourself in your life? 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 times maybe? What if you just decided, I'm going to go full force of this thing for the next 3 years? And if it doesn't work after 3 years, then I can give it up. But I have no other options. There is no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A, as Will Smith says. But I'm going to succeed at this thing no matter what. I'm going to give myself 3 years, not 45 days, not 2 months of running a business, not 6 months of running a business. I'm going to go for the next 3 years. I'm dedicated my life to 3 years in building this business. Where could your life be in 3 years? If you had that sort of mindset, if you didn't give yourself a back door, a way to get out, you said, if you said the one of my favorite lines from the great philosopher of a guy named Marshall Mathers, Eminem, success is my only motherfucking option, failure's not. What if you had that thought in your head that success is your only option for this, failure's not? Because you only fail when you give up. So if you just don't give up, you'll eventually figure it out. You'll acquire the skills, the knowledge, the tool belt to do what needs to be done to succeed at whatever it is. So what if you had that mindset? The way that you start it is by dedicating the next 100 days. The law of 100. I'm going to stick to this thing. I know what my desired outcome is. Step number 1, figure out the action is. Step number 2, don't give up. Just go for the next 100 days. If you want to start a brand new life, figure out that action is. Decide today that this is the first day of the rest of your life, and do not stop for the next 100 days. And if it makes you feel better and it makes you more excited, get a calendar, put a red X on it, and make sure that you stay consistent for the next 100 days. See how much different your life is 100 days from today. And then see how much different your life is a year from today. And your life will not be the same. It will be measurably different 3 years from today than it is right now. Just don't give up on yourself. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to learn even more about mastering your mind, click right here and watch this video as well. There are some people today, right now, possibly even listening to this episode, that are still pissed off about something that happened to them 10 years ago. What a waste